We had $2.2 million waiting to be collected.
What? $2.2 million. That's a huge amount of money. What did you do?
This key solution in HubSpot helped us fix it.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Alex Winter with Impact, and I am here with Isabelle Braeutigam, Marketing Manager at Custom Built. Isabelle, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Alex.
Yeah, how's everything going? How are you?
It's going good. Been a busy day, but excited to be here and have this conversation.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So thanks for joining. Let's just dive right into it. So I really want to unpack and talk about Custom Built and the journey that it's had through growth and marketing and sales and everything. So I think to start things off, can you tell us a little bit about what Custom Built does and a little bit about the company so we have some background?
Absolutely. So we're a design build remodeling company. And what we like to say here is that we help homeowners transform the place they live into a home they love. So it's really a concept to completion journey. So from the very first idea that a client has, they bring that to us and we really work with them to create that plan, define what it looks like, and then ultimately remodel their home so they have a place that they love to live in.
That's amazing. I love the tagline too. That's really, really clever. My old ad.
Story brand. We worked through it, but landed on that.
Story brand's great as well. Yes. So where did you come into the picture, and talk a little bit about how you joined the team and really how your role developed into what it is today?
Absolutely. So I started full time with a company in 2020, so right during COVID, and really started in a totally different role. I was working on our client service team to really make sure that we were answering the phones, making a great atmosphere for our clients in the office. And so started out working there and just kind of developed from there. I owned HubSpot in my role, which was a unique piece. And HubSpot and marketing go hand in hand. And really we were just utilizing a very small portion of the CRM. And so I began to take courses and learn more about what HubSpot is and what it could do for our company and all the capabilities that we weren't doing. So I just became a sponge and watched many hours of their online courses, called support many times to figure out problems. And so from there, I began to own HubSpot, and really HubSpot is the core of our marketing strategy. It's where we run everything. And so just kind of made sense. It was a gradual path to the role that I'm in today.
Most companies don't have a CRM like that starting out, and a lot of marketers have an uphill battle of trying to explain to
Yeah.
leadership why they need a CRM. So it's nice that you at least had that starting point of the company was already bought into why they had it. But can you talk a little bit too about how they weren't using it correctly, or how they weren't leveraging it correctly, and how much of a job and task it was for you to really get the company bought in?
Yeah, absolutely. So our owner and visionary, Michael, he read the Ask You Answer, maybe skimmed it, and really got like a vision for what it could be. Talked with another business leader that it was in really close networking relationship with, and decided to pull the trigger on HubSpot. He's like, "This is a tool that we need to do this, and this is what I want to do. I want to be a thought leader in our space. I want to have inbound marketing, answer our clients' questions well." So he had this vision and he saw that that was a tool. And so he pulled the trigger on it. And so they had it for about 3 years. And at the time that I started in my role, we really were deciding between, do we keep this really expensive tool? It's not doing too much for our business. Do we go a different route? Or do we really adopt this? And so that's when I really started to take some courses and understand. And I was like, wow, this could actually transform a lot of our processes, simplify things, clarify things for all of our departments. And so we started on that journey, and HubSpot is definitely the source of truth at Custom Built. Whenever we have a question about data or need information to pull, we go to HubSpot.
I love hearing that. That's wonderful. That's how it's supposed to be. But how was it before? So pre HubSpot, or maybe that, like, you had it, but it wasn't being leveraged correctly. What were some of the problems that you were facing as a company, and how did you bridge those gaps?
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's two big problems when I kind of sum it down. So, one is we weren't as client focused as we needed to be. And honestly, this is a journey I think every business is always going on. I think we're always trying to be more client focused, right? So, that was the biggest one, but we really didn't, I mean, we didn't have HubSpot set up to be the infrastructure that we needed to be able to have that inbound marketing, that personal connection, keep their information segmented right. So we weren't having to ask the same questions over and over again. So that was like the first part of it. And then the second part was our AR process. And this one, we really didn't figure out until 2022. We didn't discover kind of a solution there. So as a company, we primarily accepted checks and then sometimes cash, occasionally a credit card, but it was a very like archaic system and not built well. So those were the two big problems that we had in our company that HubSpot really helped solve for.
That's really fascinating because I hear with a lot of companies that AR is a problem. So can you talk a little bit more about what that meant for your company, and then also how you fixed it and what got you, like, is that common in your industry, and are you breaking the mold? Like, just talk a little bit about that, because I feel like it's something that a lot of our listeners are going to want to hear, because I know people are having AR problems out there as well.
I'd say it's definitely a very common problem in our industry. A lot of companies are really in the construction industry are really focused on building the end result. And so a lot goes into making sure that you have quality workmanship, managing subcontractors, coordinating materials, all that stuff. And so a lot of time and energy gets put into that. And not a lot of time gets put into the marketing, the soft side, like how are clients experiencing our process? How can we make things smoother for them and more efficient? Where are we, losing trust in our process is a big thing. So AR, I would say for us, was definitely an area that we were losing trust with our clients because we only accepted checks, sometimes cash, oddly enough, and then occasionally credit cards, but we really would steer people away from that. And when we would accept a credit card, it was something we had to like take their information, send it to our finance team in like a locked PDF, but still we're having to, write their credit card information down, transfer it. And so it wasn't a smooth process. It was always a little bit of like an awkward moment in many of our meetings. Like, all right, time to get the checkbook out. Oh, you don't have the checkbook. All right, let's figure out what we want to do here. So
yeah, so it sounded like it was a little antiquated and you weren't leveraging some of these tools that could make the process that much easier, build trust, make things faster, and everybody wins.
absolutely.
So how did that impact your business before you made these changes? Like, what was that doing to the business as far as growth and trying to scale the business?
As a growing company, we've got to always think ahead. So we've got to be planning to be at 10, 15, 20 million, whatever it is, like that's ahead of where you're at. And so having those processes and systems built to be a 10, 15, $20 million company was not where we were at. So our team really saw some potential of like, we're at a $5 million company right now, but we're functioning and our AR is like a less than 1 million with the processes that we have built and set up. So that was a big area of improvement. We just didn't have the tech and the setup for it.
Wow. No, that's huge, because if you're on paper making way less money than you're actually making as a company, that could be very detrimental. So I can only imagine. So what was the first step? What did you identified the problem, and then what was the first step for you to really start to change the tide or right the ship, as they would say?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was actually a bigger conversation that we had as a leadership team of like, okay, here's this issue. And then we kind of created our 10 success criteria. So we were looking for a new technology, a way to process payments, something that connected to QuickBooks, something that was user friendly for our sales team. Like we had all these success criteria. So we kind of ran it through. We call it an impact filter here, where if we have a project we're working on, we always like put it through that to really define what it looks like. So that was step one. And then step two was actually looking for technology. So I started looking around and I realized HubSpot had a quotes page that you could build out. And so I started to kind of do some research into that. And then at the time we're working with impact. So I, did some research into that and I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to pull the trigger. And I went to my HubSpot trainer, Jess, and she pointed me to payment links. So we switched to payment links, which was a much better process, just way easier, way simpler than quotes were. It just fit a lot better with what we were looking to do. And it was a newer technology that HubSpot had recently released, so I hadn't seen it and really learned about it. It was just the perfect fit. And we were like, we've already got it in our portal. Let's just release it to our sales team and see what happens. So that was what we did.
Wow. I love hearing all that. And I can relate. I love HubSpot, but it's a very complex tool and it's extremely helpful for your
Hmm.
business. But like, I feel like I only know the tip of the iceberg, and all that stuff that's under the water is like a big question mark at times. So can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned Jess, and we love Jess here at Impact. She's like our HubSpot expert, to say the least. But what was it like having a coach or somebody that could point you in the right direction? You thought quotes was the way to go. She started showing you payment links. How did that help you in your decision making process and ultimately to help the company as a whole?
Absolutely. I mean, I would have moved forward with using quotes and it wouldn't have been the right payment. It wouldn't have been the right tool. And it would have caused confusion with our sales team. It wasn't as simple to use. It wasn't as easy. It wasn't located centrally in the deal for them to click on and use at the time. So it would have been the wrong tool to use. And ultimately, especially with our sales team, as we're incorporating all these new marketing things into the company, like my big thing is building trust with the sales team and making sure that they have the right tools. So to have Jess there and for her to say, hey, actually, there's this new, software, this new program that was released in HubSpot. You need to go check it out and see if it's going to work for you. And when it did, it was just an easy yes because she knows so much about HubSpot. And so, although I'm our expert here at HubSpot, having somebody like Jess who literally lives, breathes HubSpot to be able to tell me, hey, check this out. And then if it works, let's do it. And we did that. It was very helpful and just made me confident in my decision of let's try this.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool to hear. So when did you know, when was that moment when you really saw the change happening and you start to see it's working and the payment links and this whole automation process that you've been working so hard to implement was actually starting
Mhm.
to turn the dial?
Our sales team started to use it and we got some traction there. And I think my favorite moment was like probably a week into it. I got a call from one of our sales advisors and she's like, I love these payment links. They're so easy to use. This is going to change our sales process, essentially, is what she said. And so that was the moment where I knew, like, okay, we made the right decision here. This is the right tool. And then from there, it was like not something that I had to follow up and, make the team use. It was something that the team just adopted immediately. They were excited to use it. It made things easier for them. And our clients really liked it.
That's amazing. You got actual buy-in from the team because they saw it working and you didn't have to sell them or try to pitch them or tell them on it. That's incredible. That's the
Yeah,
dream, right? That's the dream scenario.
it is.
Good for
It
you.
is. It doesn't happen very often, but with payment links and HubSpot, it can happen.
Let's fast forward here. So you implement, you got the team to buy in, which is amazing. What's different now? Where has it taken the company? How has it changed the dynamic of how sales
Mhm.
are practiced and just the business overall?
The biggest change that we've seen is we're really building trust with our clients when we're collecting their payments. So they come in, they don't have to bring their checkbook, they don't have to worry about, giving us their credit card information, anything like that. We've got a secure system set up that's easy for our sales advisors to access. They can even do it on their phone if they want to, which is super convenient if that happens to be, in the client's home. So I'd say that's the biggest change that we've seen. We've collected over $2.2 million through our payment link system.
Whoa.
So we've collected a lot of money. A lot of our receivables have come through HubSpot payment links. So that's super exciting as well. So it's something that, again, I told you, like the sales team really grabbed onto it. Like they really grabbed onto it. Like we collect most of our payments through HubSpot payment links at this point.
Wow. Wow. 2.2 million. That's a substantial amount of money. That's incredible. So how has this like affected the overall financial health of the company over the last year or since you started implementing it?
It's really helped us get paid quicker, which is a huge thing in our business, especially once a project goes into construction. We have a couple payments we like to receive. It's like a start of construction, usually a mid construction, and then maybe one more before we actually end construction. And that really ensures, like, for the health of our organization, that we're not building the client's whole project without actually receiving money. So if something were to go wrong and like we didn't get the full payment at the end, like we need to be collecting those payments to make sure that our business can, stay in business and we can continue to serve the community. So it's a big thing to be able to have such an easy process for our clients to pay and then for our team to actually ask, and send our clients a payment link.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So my last question For all of our listeners and for our viewers, maybe they're struggling with the same thing in their organization. What would you say to them to help them empower the same sort of change within their organization? Or how did that happen in your organization? Just maybe share that with them to try to get them inspired and excited to bring this back to their team.
Yeah, absolutely. So it goes back to what I said a little bit earlier, which is whatever the problem is, if it's AR specifically, we talked about a really great solution. Go check out HubSpot payment links. That is an incredible solution that you definitely should implement into your business. It's super easy to use from front to back. But I'd say really, whatever the problem is, define your success criterias, go ahead and do some research on it. And then if you're working with an impact team, like bring them into it. Like your coaches will help you find the solution, whether it's in HubSpot or not. Our other coach, Devin, like he was involved in all sorts of our business, sections. And so he'd always help us find the solution. So that's what I'd say to the listeners. If you have a problem, like first define your success criterias, go ahead, do some research, bring it to the impact team. They'll definitely help you find a solution.
Excellent advice from an excellent marketer and business person. Isabelle, thank you so much for your time and for being on the show today. If you could, just let everybody know where you're at, how they can reach out to you if they want to get in touch with you or have any follow-up questions.
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn at Isabelle Braeutigam. We'll have that in the show notes. It's a little bit difficult to spell. So
It's a little bit hard to say too. I had to practice for a second there, but hey, thank you again. We really are so impressed with everything that you've done and the whole Custom Built team has done. Keep doing what you're doing and bravo.
thanks, Alex. Been great to be on today.
All right. Take care.